We'll call this meeting to order, and can I have a roll call, please?
Miranda. Here. Maniscalco. Here. Hurtek.
Here.
Vieira. Here. Carlson. Here. Clendenin.
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
Thank you. Councilwoman Hurtek is not feeling well, so she is attending virtually, which means we will have all of our votes will be roll call votes. Can I have a motion to allow Councilwoman Hurtek to participate virtually? We have a motion from Councilman Carlson, a second from Councilman Vieira. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, very good. Housekeeping.
And then I will yield to Mr. Collins, who will clear the remaining comprehensive plan items on the agenda.
Thank you.
So item number 1 is TACPA 24-18. It was scheduled for a public hearing this evening, but there was a snafu with the legal ad, and so as a result, this item is not properly before you. It was misnoticed, and so it's not able to be heard tonight. And we would request that council set a new date for the public hearing on this comp plan amendment. You do have an email from the applicant's representative requesting, before we realized it was misnoticed, a continuance. So I guess for consideration now of a rescheduled date of January 15th, 2026. And I believe Mr. Hudson is here to address that request.
Well, do we need to address it, or can we just set a public hearing date? Can I get a motion to set a public hearing date for item 1 to January 15th, 2026?
At 5:01 p.m.
At 5:01 p.m. at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602. We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, a second from? Second from Councilman Carlson. I guess we have to have a roll call on that as well. Roll call, please.
Carlson. Miranda. Maniscalco. Hurtek.
Yes.
Vieira. Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council.
That's at 5:01?
5:01 p.m.
No, you don't have to say it. I guess
I said it, so
you
yeah.
did it, but I just want to be clear it's 5:01. No, not necessary. Thank you.
Danny?
Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. Item 4, this is TACPA 2507. This is a request to withdraw the amendment from tonight's hearing.
We have a motion to withdraw item 4. We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from? Second from Councilman Maniscalco. Can we have a roll call, please?
Maniscalco. Hurtek.
Yes.
Vieira. Carlson. Miranda. Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously to have item number 4 withdrawn.
Thank you.
Danny Collins again with your Planning Commission staff. This is item 6 on your agenda. This is TACPA 2510, and there is a request from the applicant to continue the public hearing to the October 30th, 2025 public hearing.
Okay, can I get a motion to continue item 6 to October 30th? We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, a second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call, please. Oh.
Date, time, and location, please.
Okay, we have a motion to continue to October 30th, 2025 at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602 at 5:01 p.m. Count. Roll call, please.
Hurtek.
Yes.
Vieira. Carlson. Miranda. Maniscalco. Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Was that item number 6?
That was item 6, yes.
To continue item number 6.
And that's it? Motion to approve the agenda?
I thought we had number 9.
We have something else? I'm sorry. Number 9. Okay, can I get number 9? We have a motion to continue, we have a motion for the applicant, or an email from the applicant to request to continue number 9 to January 29th, 2026. We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, a second from Councilman Carlson. Do we have to set that one too? Okay. So we have a motion to move that to 5:01 p.m. on January 29th, 2026 at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602. Roll call.
Vieira. Carlson. Miranda. Maniscalco. Hurtek.
Yes.
Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously to have to continue item number 9 to January
Mr.
29th.
Shelby.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just for the purposes of the public, that's AB 2-25-12, 1625 East 7th Avenue. And just a reminder to the public, when you do continue these, they don't receive notice in the mail the way they normally
Thank
would
you.
for the first
Can I
time.
get a motion to approve the agenda? We have a
So
motion from
moved.
Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. Roll call, please. Can we do that by voice?
You can.
Okay. Can I, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes
Aye.
have it. Thank you unanimously.
Okay.
Very good. We are moving on. Item number 2, please. No, I'm sorry, you're right. Move to open all public hearings. Motion from Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
That's true.
Mr. Collins.
Danny Collins with your Planning Commission staff. Today I'll be presenting TACPA 2503. This is the first adoption public hearing for this item, and this is related to the CBD periphery bonus, specifically within the Channel District CRA boundaries. And just a quick background, the Planning Commission reviewed this request and they took action on May 12th, 2025. Planning Commission recommended that the request be found consistent with the comprehensive plan. On July 31st, the City Council reviewed the request and voted to transmit the request to the Florida Department of Commerce. And then today, we're here for the first adoption public hearing for this item. I just wanted to kind of go over the request briefly. This is a privately initiated amendment. It seeks changes to the CBD periphery bonus within the Channel District CRA boundary as of July 1st, 2025. Currently, projects within the CBD periphery are limited to 100% of the maximum density intensity permitted within the applicable plan category. As proposed, projects within the Channel District CRA would be eligible for up to a 200% increase in density intensity above the current flu category maximums. So essentially, this is doubling the existing CBD periphery bonus within the district. Any development must meet specific provisions outlined in Section 27-140 of the Land Development Code. So following the July 31st hearing, we transmitted this item to the Florida Department of Commerce and the state reviewing agencies. We received comments back from Florida Department of Commerce, Florida DEP, and FDOT. You should have those comments. We sent them, we transmitted those on September 10th. Florida Commerce did have some concerns with the request. They recommended that the city not adopt the proposed amendment. Again, you should have those comments. And with that, that concludes my presentation. And the applicant has submitted a response letter to those DOC comments, and you should also have those as well. With that, that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Does council have any questions?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hurtak.
Thank you. You said that the boundaries as of July 1st, 2025. In the agenda, it says January 1st.
No, it's January 1st, 2025.
Okay.
Might have missed.
Just double checking. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Okay, applicant.
Good evening, Kurt Gardner, 400 North Ashley Drive.
Oh,
Mr.
stand
Chairman,
by.
before I can.
Yes, sir, Council.
Interrupt, forgive me. Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney, it was brought to our attention that the timer is not working tonight, what you have in front of you. The red, green, and yellow lights don't work, and I don't think
I
there's a
don't plan on
number.
going anywhere near 15 minutes.
Well, I just want to just let you know and let everybody else know you would have your normal 15 minutes and your 5 minutes. But for members of the public, just please be reminded, you'll also have 3 minutes, but that indication will come from the clerk. So just be mindful that the timer doesn't work, but we'll be adhering to the standard 3-minute rule for public comment. Thank you, sir.
You got it.
Thank you.
Again, Kurt Gardner, 400 North Ashley Drive, here on behalf of the applicant. Danny was doing such a great job. He was tracking exactly with my presentation, so I'll skip a little bit ahead. As he mentioned, we did receive comments back from the state. Their main point was they voiced concerns about potentially adversely impacting hurricane evacuation routes. We responded to them. We pointed out the proximity of the Channel District to the CBD and to Water Street, which have unlimited density. Further, we provided information on how the Channel District is unique and that there are over 5 hurricane evacuation routes within a mile. You might recall from our transmittal hearing, we entered this into the record. If that will show. There it is, pointing out those evacuation routes. And we have not received any comments back from the state. However, in researching this further, and this is where it gets really curious, we found comments on our request from the FDOT. So it was Florida Commerce that issued the letter talking about hurricane evacuation routes on state roads. FDOT, who's the reviewing agency for state roads, found, and I'll quote, and Addie's putting it up as well, and this is what FDOT found: our request has no impact on important state transportation resource facilities within its jurisdiction. So the two directly conflict. I don't know what is going on with the Florida Commerce Department, but we feel like we're in compliance with Tampa's comprehensive plan and with the applicable state statutes. Ultimately, we feel like this is a decision of City Council. It's clear in the statutes that deference is given to the local jurisdictions. And as you found before unanimously that this should be supported, we would hope the same. But are here to answer any questions. And I believe Ken wants to speak briefly as well, even though I know he spoke this morning.
Ken Stoltenberg, 1208 East Kennedy Boulevard in Grand Central Kennedy in the Channel District. Everything I said this morning, I just confirm that here. That's all. I don't have anything else to ask unless you have any other questions.
Does council have any questions of the applicant? No? Okay. Councilman Carlson, did you say?
No, just to, can I make a comment, or you want to?
You want to wait till after public comment? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak to item number 2? Well, I'll move to close so we can do the, we have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco to close, second from Councilman Vieira. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilman Carlson.
No, I think in looking at the letter from Florida Commerce, the folks south of Gandy hope that that is an excuse not to build in certain areas, but I think the argument that Truitt made in his letter is sufficient to describe how this area is particularly unique, and also included, I don't know if you mentioned this just now, there are very few empty spots, and there are very few spots that can be redeveloped. There are a few four-story buildings, but it's mostly developed already, and so and with the access to move out easily, it's totally different than being on the peninsula in South Tampa and many other areas that might flood. So I'm in favor of this. If the state pushes back, it'll be interesting to see why, considering those arguments. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah, I'm in agreement. I've got, this is the letter from the state. It seems inconsistent with what I've seen come out of Tallahassee. I mean, it's really intellectually inconsistent. And I had that briefing when I was speaking with the city attorneys too. So I'm curious if this is a one-off, and if we challenge and push forward, what their response will be. But I'm willing to continue on the course that we had previously set.
Yeah, just one more thing. We as city council don't turn down that many. I think it's less than 2% of projects. But every time we do, people say, "Oh, you're anti-development. You're anti-development." Well, there's some areas in the city that don't want development, but there's some areas that do. And this area, as we know, had different rules that it turned out because of exceptions were changed, and so it makes sense to change the rules over there and allow more density where people want it instead of pushing density where people don't want it. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Councilman Carlson, would you like to take number 2, please?
Sure. I'd like to move file number TA-CPA 25-03, ordinance being presented for first reading consideration.
He seconded it.
Oh, an ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use section to offer an additional bonus for projects located within the Channel District Community Redevelopment Area, CRA boundaries as of January 1st, 2025, providing for repeal of all ordinance in conflict, providing for severability, providing effective date.
Councilman Miranda, I'd love to take your second, but you were beaten out by Councilman Vieira with a whisper. We have a motion from Councilman Carlson, a second from Councilman Vieira. Roll call, please.
I challenge, because I didn't hear the second from him.
Carlson,
Yes.
Miranda,
Yes.
Maniscalco, Hurtak,
Yes.
Vieira, Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Second reading and adoption will be held on October 23rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Thank you. I'm going to take a little pause. Chair privilege, take a pause right now and introduce a couple special guests we have in the audience. Molly, would you like to bring your guests up? These are representatives from Mayor's Youth Corps that are visiting council today to watch the inner workings of their local government. Would you like to introduce them?
Good evening, council. Thank you once again for having us.
gotta get in
I
the
am
camera.
Molly. Yeah,
Come on
you can
up.
come on in there. There's just two of them. I've got a couple of members. They weren't able to make it to the last time we came to a meeting, and they wanted to be here. And I will let them introduce themselves.
Okay.
Good evening, council. My name is Grant Henderson. I go to Jesuit High School, and I'm a junior.
Welcome.
My name is Brady Fogarty. I go to Jesuit High School and I'm a senior.
Thank you. Well, welcome to City Council. Hopefully you'll enjoy it, and maybe one day you'll be in government. Very good. Take care.
Thank you.
We'll try not to bore you to death tonight. Okay, item number 3.
Danny Collins with the Planning Commission staff. Item 3 is TACPA 2505, and this is for the property located at 1300 East Harbor and Channelside Street. This is a privately initiated amendment. However, I do want to note that this, the applicant on this application is Port Tampa Bay. The amendment is small scale in size, and the subject site's approximately 5.42 acres. Currently, the subject site does not have a future land use designation, and they're requesting the public, semi-public designation on the site. So the subject site is located in the Central Tampa Planning District. It's within the Channel District Urban Village, the Channel District CRA, the Port Activity Center, and it's within the Coastal High Hazard Area. It is shown here on our location map. Here is an aerial of the subject site and the surrounding properties. As you can see, the subject site is actually contains surface waters within the Ybor Channel. Here it's outlined in yellow. The subject site is located east of East Twig Street and Channelside Drive and includes surface waters in Ybor Channel. It lies directly to the north of port-owned property, currently serving as one of Tampa's cruise terminals here. To the west of Channelside Drive is a mix of high-density mixed-use development, including residential, office, and commercial uses. Across the Ybor Channel to the east, over here, are lands within the Port Activity Center. While some of these properties are still in industrial use, several future land use amendments east of the channel have occurred and have been converted from industrial lands to the urban mixed-use 60 category. Here is an image of the subject site looking east. This is looking at some of the industrial uses located north of the site. This is looking northwest from the subject site toward the Leroy Selman Expressway. This is looking west, standing on the subject site, looking west across Channelside Drive. So here is the adopted future land use map. As mentioned previously, the subject site does not have a future land use designation. It is surrounded by RMU 100 to the north and south and also to the west. There is a sliver of heavy industrial lands as well, just east of the Channelside Drive right-of-way, west of the subject site. A majority of the Channel District is made up of RMU 100. There are some pockets of heavy industrial, and as I mentioned earlier, there is urban mixed-use 60 directly across the channel to the east. And again, the subject site is within the coastal high hazard area. This is the proposed future land use map. So this would designate the site as public, semi-public. So because the site contains surface waters and it currently does not have a future land use designation, there is no potential density or intensity that can be considered on the subject site. As proposed under the public, semi-public designation, the maximum cannot be defined at this time. That's typically defined during the site plan development phase. The proposed amendment introduces the potential public and supporting public uses on the site. Again, maximum development potential will be guided by how well the proposed project aligns with the character and compatibility with the surrounding area. We sent this out to our partner reviewing agencies. We did receive a comment back from the school board. Both Wilson Middle and Plant High School have been identified as overcapacity at this time. I do want to note that this is analysis for adequate facilities only, is not a determination of school concurrency. This amendment went to the Planning Commission on August 11th. They found it consistent with a number of policies in the comprehensive plan. Although the site consists of surface waters, the comprehensive plan allows for future land use designations to be applied to water bodies under certain circumstances when a project meets overriding public interest, and that's ultimately determined by the City Council. This definition is outlined in pages 9 and 10 of your staff report. The Planning Commission found that the request did meet that definition and did recommend that the City Council determine that it does meet the overriding public interest definition. The Planning Commission also found that the request supported the Port Tampa Bay and economic development. Specifically, it was supportive of the Port Master Plan and related policies in the plan that support the port. And finally, the Planning Commission found it consistent with policies that kind of spoke to providing public amenities and infrastructure within the Channel District and also in proximity to downtown. With that, the Planning Commission recommended that the request be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan. And that concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Councilman Miranda, your light was on. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm sorry.
Councilman Carlson.
Just a point of clarification, mainly for the public. Would you mind going back to the picture that was in the aerial from the beginning? When you were showing this, you kind of gestured your hand and you said some of that over to the right has been converted to urban mixed use. I just want to clarify that I think it's called the Marathon oil gasoline tanks to the south are still industrial based on the other map you get right. So where those that's a strategic asset of our region, and that's not urban mixed use, correct?
Right. Yeah, only this map will show it better. Yeah, so these are the folios to the east of the channel that were converted to urban mixed use 60. The gas tanks south are on this heavy industrial piece.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the public knows that that's not. That's the reason why our gas stations get filled up quickly after hurricanes, because that's there. Thank you.
Mr. Collins, how did they resolve the heavy industrials, those slivers of land to the north and to the west?
Over here?
Yeah, the black there that runs along the water, like between Channelside Drive and the water and the north side of the parcel. Wouldn't they want to unify that as the same future land use?
Yeah, so this parcel is actually contains heavy industrial lands and RMU 100 and surface waters, and this is only for the portion of the site that is contains surface waters. The applicant could address.
So they're going to have to do another one to rectify these slivers?
If that's up to the applicant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, thank you. Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other questions?
No, I think the problem is that was just water that was never never designated, right? So this is the old banana docks. and
Banana
so-
docks, yeah.
So they would unload on the industrial area, but the water, because they're gonna fill in the water, it was never designated. Now we just need to designate it, correct? Yeah, okay. And the banana docks have been gone, the port can tell us since the 90s, I think, right?
Okay, thank you. Very good. Okay. No other questions? We'll move on. Applicant? Start with your name, please. Hand them to the attorney, and he'll distribute them.
Good evening. I am Kevin Manier, certified planner, and I'm assisting Port Tampa Bay with this plan amendment. With me are several people who provide legal, environmental, real estate, and engineering services for the port. Hopefully, we can answer any questions you might have. Port Tampa Bay owns and operates the various freight and passenger ship facilities in the Tampa Bay area, including the cruise ship terminals located in Channelside. Our cruise ship business has been very successful, with growth most every single year. This year, we estimate 372 visits and almost 1.6 million passengers. We have over 50 separate days each year. We have cruise ships moored at each of our 3 cruise ship terminals. An additional cruise ship terminal would only enhance passenger cruise operations. And the logical location would be the port's property at Metroport, just north of the existing terminal. To do this, we need to fill in this slip. While filling in a slip would normally be considered land creation, in this case, it's actually the restoration of what were uplands, as this slip was originally upland, but dredged decades ago to serve small freighters. Ships are much bigger now, and the slip has no utility. However, once filled in, it can be used for a new passenger cruise terminal. I'm going to hand it over to Charles to discuss economic impacts of the port. But before I conclude, we appreciate working with your staff. We agree with their findings of compatibility and that our request meets all applicable port activity policies which promote the redevelopment of unutilized waterfront properties with a focus on water-dependent uses such as our proposed new cruise terminal for passenger liners. Thank you.
Thank you. I've seen you way too much this week.
Yes, that's right. Well, good evening, Councilman, and glad to have you here today to hear this great opportunity for the port. My name is Charles Klug. I'm the General Counsel for Port Tampa Bay. I just want to mention some of the economic benefits of this development and some of the jobs created in it. So back in 2023, we had an economic analysis done by a group called Martin and Associates, and they determined that as of 2023, the port was responsible for $34.6 billion in economic impact in the region and supported more than 192,000 jobs. Well, more specifically for this particular matter, that same report determined that cruise ship operations in Tampa in 2023 accounted for 2,889 jobs based on 249 cruise ship calls. That generated approximately 1,125,000 cruise passengers and $537 million in total revenue. It comes out to $2.16 million per cruise. And that also produced $162 million in total personal income and $17.8 million in state and local taxes. Now in 2024, that increased to 272 cruise ship calls and approximately 1.43 million cruise passengers and $587 million in revenue. Now forward up to this year, 2025, the port is forecasting 372 cruise ship calls with approximately 1,596,000 passengers and $803 million in revenue. In fiscal year 2026, which starts next week, we're expecting 395 cruise ship calls with approximately 1.8 million passengers, $853 million in revenue, and we're scheduling, as Mr. Manier mentioned, we're going to have 54 days with 3 cruise ships in each day. So that means we need that 4th cruise ship terminal, and this is the 4th cruise ship terminal. Let me talk about jobs a little more. I'd mentioned there was 2,889 total jobs in 2023. There there was also 1,323 direct jobs based on those 249 sailings. So the average wage of marine maritime workers in the port is 74,350 based on 2023 numbers. That excludes insurance and retirement and other benefits that ILA workers receive. We had the president of International Longshoremen's Union number 1402 was scheduled to appear today, but he's in South Carolina. He was trying to fly back for this meeting. I don't think he was able to make it. So anyway, that number is $74,350 in 2023 dollars equated to today about $78,878 once you adjust that for inflation. So that compares with a statewide average about $55,000. So we're looking at increasing more jobs and more economic benefit to the area. So if you extrapolate the number of jobs in 2023 to today, that's 4,583 jobs, total jobs, with 2,100 direct jobs based on 395 sailings. So in sum, this cruise ship operations creates good paying jobs and generates over $850 million total revenue for the port. We have estimated that this fourth cruise ship terminal would generate 100 more cruise ship calls and approximately 500,000 additional passengers per year. In addition, that fourth cruise ship terminal will generate over 530 additional direct jobs and 1,160 total jobs. So the proposed plan amendment would allow the port to build this fourth terminal and accommodate Tampa's flourishing cruise market and create additional jobs and create increased economic activity in the Bay. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to ask you those right now. Thank you.
Well, I'm really glad that you brought up the job issue, because I think a lot of times that gets lost in a lot of these land use hearings and issues that we have on how many jobs are created by cities. So we can build all the houses in the world, but if people don't have jobs, they can't afford anything. So I'm really thankful, and very impressive numbers. That's crazy. Now, the most important question, though, when you build this next terminal, are you going to renumber the darn things?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So, yes, the cruise ships back in, when we first started this, back in the 80s and 90s, it was like the big red boat was about 500 or 600 LOA, linear feet overall. Now they're about 1,000 LOA. And so we had Cruise Terminal 1 is the garrison lot. That's why we have Cruise Terminal 2. Then we built Cruise Terminal 6 and Terminal 3, but they're supposed to have been a 4 and 5 between 3 and 6. So we can actually count at Port Tampa Bay.
Okay.
It's just the cruise ships got bigger and bigger. So
I
now,
thought that was the Charlie Miranda version of counting.
yeah, we're gonna rename it those, but this will be Cruise Terminal number 4. Yes, sir.
Councilman Carlson.
So the first cruise that I took, I think it was Carnival, but it was around 1987. It was a blue metal building, kind of where Starship is. Is that, do I remember correctly?
It was probably Holland America. That's probably.
You think so?
Yes, I think so.
It was not a very impressive boat, but how long has the cruise industry been around in Tampa?
Yeah, we started about 1981 or so, and so that was with Emmett Lee, port director back then, and Terrell Sessoms and Joe Garcia, and they got us kicked off. And we had a cruise terminal over at Hooker's Point, which we can't use anymore because of
after
9/11, et cetera. But we
Princess.
bought the property in the Channel District for purposes of expanding that cruise ship operations.
So I have to ask this because it's good to have it on the record. Sorry. A couple years ago, in the Business Journal, there was a 5-page story where a lobbyist for a condo developer said that the cruise industry is outdated, that Tampa's behind in the cruises, that has no economic impact. We should just get rid of it and put condos. Now, you just listed a whole bunch of numbers, but could you just give us a short answer, or give the Business Journal a short answer as to why we should continue the cruise industry and actually grow it?
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, the cruise business is flourishing in Tampa right now. And so we were told by a consultant about 10 years ago, at this point in time, we'd be about 600,000 cruise passengers. We're, like I said, going to be at 1.8 million cruise passengers. And so we have a great place to cruise from. I think Water Streets help with that. Busch Gardens, the beaches, Tampa Zoo, the Florida Aquarium, those all help us bring cruises to Tampa. People like cruising from Tampa. We're rated one of the #1 cruise ports in the world by Carnival and their passengers from year to year. And so it's a great place to cruise from. It's an economical vacation for a lot of people. And I think it's a really flourishing business for us. We want to take advantage of that. Right now, it's about 17% or so of our revenue. And so we're very fortunate in Port Tampa Bay. We're so diversified. We have shipyards, oil, gas, aggregates, containers, break bulk, et cetera. We're not relied entirely upon this, but this is a good piece of business for us.
And we may have a wheel over the water.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Is there anything else from the applicant?
That's it.
Okay. Hearing none. No more other questions from council. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak to this item?
Ken Stoltenberg, 1208 East Kennedy Boulevard. I told you you guys are going to be sick of me today, so be real quick. I've been down there for almost 25 years, done a lot of real estate development, have worked closely with the port for that entire period of time. Tampa's really blessed because we have a phenomenal aviation authority, an expressway authority, and a port authority. Not every city can say that, but all three of these organizations are just top-notch and really, really aid in the economic development of the city. So more cruise ships, hooray. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the public wish to speak to this item? Can I get a motion to close? We have a motion to close from Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Vieira. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it unanimously. Councilman Vieira.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Hurtak.
Chair? Yeah, I haven't been able to see people in quite some time. I don't know, we're still stuck on the wolf.
Okay, we'll fix that as we go forward. CTTV.
Thank you.
Would you ensure that when we have public speakers that the camera is?
There we go.
There we go. Perfect. Thank you so much. Councilman Vieira.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. I move an ordinance presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property located at 1300 East Harbor Street and Channelside Drive, assigning public, semi-public, future land use designations, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Thank you. We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call vote, please.
Miranda. Maniscalco. Hurtak.
Yes.
Vieira.
Yes.
Carlson. Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Second reading and adoption will be held on October 23rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Thank you. See you next month.
Thank you.
Item number 5.
Jennifer Malone, Planning Commission staff. I'm going to turn over the floor to Meg McCarthy. She's a planner with Plan Hillsborough, and this is her first time presenting to
It's a new face.
to council, so I just want to introduce her. Thank you.
Oh, good. Is this trial by fire? Should I be good Alan or mean Alan?
If it was trial by fire, we would have given her one of the earlier cases tonight.
Okay.
So,
All right, we'll see then.
Okay, welcome.
Good evening, Council. Megan McCarthy with Planning Commission staff. This is TACPA 2508, located at 2306 North Boulevard. The request is privately initiated, small scale, and is approximately 0.17 acres. The amendment is to go from a residential 10 future land use designation to residential 20. This is the general location of the amendment. It's located within the Central Tampa Planning District, as well as the Ridgewood Park neighborhood. This is an aerial of the subject site with the surrounding area, and the subject site is outlined in pink. The surrounding area is a mixture of uses, including single-family detached to the north and west. To the south is a scattered vacant lands, and to the east is a mix of single-family attached and single-family detached. So we'll start with our site photos here. This is looking directly at the subject site. Next, this is looking north along North Boulevard with the subject site to the left-hand side. This is looking south of our subject site. The subject site is on the right-hand side of the camera here. Next is looking southeast along North Boulevard with the site behind the camera. And then lastly, looking down the alley in the rear of the site. This is our adopted future land use map. The subject site is shown outlined in black and is designated currently under the residential 10 flu category. The subject site is located directly north of the R20 flu designation as a result of adopted TACPA 2219. North and west of the site is the R10 designation, and to the east is the R35. This is the proposed future land use map showing the site under the proposed residential 20 designation. Under the adopted flu of residential 10, the site can be considered for 1 dwelling unit, and the site could be considered for 2,591 square feet of commercial uses, subject to locational criteria. but under the proposed R20 designation, the site may be considered for 3 residential units or 3,702 square feet of commercial uses, subject to locational criteria. The proposed R20 designation would result in the increase of residential density and commercial intensity, and it would allow for multifamily uses. Any non-residential uses would be subject to locational criteria, which is expanded under the R20 designation. We'd also like to note that the application was sent to our partner agencies and there were no objections to this request. The proposed amendment is recommended to be found consistent with the policies, objectives, and objectives of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, including compatibility with the surrounding area, as the proposed amendment was found consistent with existing townhomes in the R35 designation to the east, as well as the existing R20 parcels directly to the south of the subject site. Additionally, encouraging housing supply by finding the amendment consistent with infill development policies. The recommendation by the Planning Commission staff is that the proposed amendment be found consistent with the Tampa Comprehensive Plan. And this concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. It's like you've done that for 20 years.
Thank you.
Good job. The applicant? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Angela Halber with Hillward Henderson, 101 East Kennedy Boulevard, Suite 3700. Thank you, Megan. You did a great job. Hopefully that makes my presentation shorter, which is what I think you all want.
Absolutely. Way to read the room.
I'm going to skip ahead a few of my slides to this one. And I'm also going to show you one more thing, because the photograph that was shown of the property, I do not have a current photograph, but that home that was on the site has been demolished as of, I think, probably last week or the last few days. The property to the south now looks like this, because it is, the future land use is R20 on those, and the projects that were rezoned and are allowed are underway. So I know that when we spoke with the Ridgewood Park Civic Association, that was something that they were they were hoping we would be moving forward quickly with those projects, and so I wanted to put that in the record. Again, the reason for this request is to accommodate additional residential density in the area, changing the land use to R20. We're trying to do that in a very sensitive way, because the property to the east of North Boulevard is R35. The property to the west in the Ridgewood Park neighborhood is R10. And so we're asking for R20 to accommodate just a gentle, modest increase in residential density that makes sense in the context. And if you look at I'm not going to go through all the different land use policies that were cited in support in the Planning Commission and city reports, but the common theme that emerges is connection, neighborhood stability, and when I say connections to neighborhoods, connections to people, connections to all of the great things that are happening in the rest of Tampa. And with that, I request that this be approved.
Does council have any questions? No. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak to this item? Hearing none, can I get a motion to close? We have a motion to close from Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Councilman Maniscalco, would you like to read this item,
Do
please?
you want to go to HRTAC in order?
Oh, I don't know. She can't. Can she make motions?
Yes, she can.
Hertug, we can't hear
I
you.
thought we couldn't.
I'm trying to think.
Ma'am, you're muted.
Yeah.
You're muted.
Councilwoman Hurtak, I can't read lips. Oh, it's CCTV.
Councilman Vieira, you've read motions.
He did.
He did.
It's more difficult sometimes for the
Okay.
person on the other end.
Would you be offended if we skipped you, Councilwoman
Oh,
Hurtak?
finally.
there you-
Okay, I'm unmuted. I can read.
There she goes.
We can hear you. If you'd like to read this one, you can.
Sure, no problem. File number TACPA 25-08, ordinance being presented for first reading consideration, an ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property located at 2306 North Boulevard from residential 10 R10 to residential 20 R20 providing for a repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion for Councilwoman Hurtak, a second from Councilman Maniscalco. Roll call vote, please.
Hurtak,
Yes.
Viera. Carlson. Miranda. Maniscalco.
Yes.
Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Second reading and adoption will be held on October 23rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Thank you. We'll see you next month. Item number 7. Staff?
Good evening, Council, Quinn Steele, Planning Commission staff. Today I'll be presenting TA CPA 2512, which is a map amendment for 3618 West Euclid Avenue. The request before you is privately initiated in small scale, covering approximately 0.31 acres, and the request is to change the future land use designation from residential 20 to community mixed use 35. Here's a general location map. The subject site is located within the South Tampa Planning District in the Fair Oaks, Manhattan neighborhood. Here's an aerial photo of the subject site, which is outlined in yellow. To the south is Britton Plaza, and then to the west along Euclid, we have residential office and commercial uses, and then to the north and the east are single-family homes. This is a photo looking south on West Euclid Avenue, directly at the subject site, which is the vacant parcel, and then further south is Britton Plaza. These are the residential office uses to the west, and the subject site is out of frame on the right. These are the properties to the north across West Euclid Avenue, and the property directly east of the subject site. The adopted future land use map designates this site as a residential 20, which allows up to 20 dwelling units an acre, and limited neighborhood serving commercial and residential office uses at a 0.5 FAR if locational criteria are met. To the south, Britton Plaza is CC 35. Immediately east and west is residential 20. To the north is R10, and then further east and west on Dale Mabry and Himes are CMU 35. This map shows the proposed future land use as CMU 35, which would allow 35 dwelling units an acre or a 2.0 FAR. Under the existing R20 designation, the site can be considered for 6 dwelling units or just over 6,700 square feet of non-residential uses subject to locational criteria. With the proposed CMU 35 designation, that could increase to 10 dwelling units an acre or just over 27,000 square feet, 10 units or just over 27,000 square feet of residential or non-residential development. If approved, the amendment would introduce the potential for commercial general uses and increase the potential density and intensity of the site. The proposed amendment is consistent with several objectives and policies in the comprehensive plan, including promotion of infill on a site that is currently vacant and underutilized, and promoting density supportive of transit and a mixture of uses, as this is just north of Britton Plaza, which is a major commercial hub and a heart transfer center, and then just east of Dale Mabry, which is a transit emphasis corridor. Again, we did send this request to our partner agencies, and there were no objections. Planning Commission recommends that the proposed map amendment be found consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, and I am available for any questions.
Any questions?
No.
Hearing none. Applicant, please.
Good evening, Council. Alex Shaler, 400 North Ashley Drive. I'll kind of jump right into the main portion of our presentation here. We represent Brixmore Property Group. They're our client, and the landowners of Britton Plaza, whenever they acquired Britton Plaza, they acquired this, what we're calling an out parcel along Euclid Avenue as part of the larger deal. And they are a REIT that's focused on owning and maintaining open air retail centers. They own, I think, 360 or so plazas across the United States. And so they're predominantly, commercial users. And so that's why we're filing this request today, is to allow commercial uses on the site. For a little bit of background, we have a companion rezoning that's been filed. That's going to come before you next month to CG. However, commercial general is not consistent with R20, so we had to go top down, change the land use in order to change the zoning to allow commercial uses. So that's the request that we have before you this evening. We believe there's inherent justification for this request. R20 does exist along the strip just north of Britton Plaza and south of Euclid, but just east of the Dale Mabry intersection, all of those uses have since transferred to commercial type uses. So that pattern is very prevalent along that strip, and we feel that a single family home would not be as compatible here on this site, given the magnitude of the operations of the plaza to the south. This request furthers many goals, policies, and objectives of the plan. These are in the staff report. I will not read these out, but the key takeaway here is that the plan does mention a citywide demand for retail and services, as well as those uses that are employment generators, as a commercial use would be. Staff found this application consistent, and we were at the Planning Commission board last month in August, in which they unanimously recommended a consistency finding as well. That's the end of my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions.
Does council have any questions? Hearing none. Is anybody in the public that wishes to speak to this item? We have a motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilman Maniscalco.
Thank you. I got my first speeding ticket down the street from this property.
Your first. That wasn't your last?
25 years ago. I have an ordinance being presented for first reading consideration, ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, future land use element, future land use map for the property at 3618 West Euclid Avenue from residential 20R20 to community mixed use 35, CMU 35, providing for a repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Thank you. We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, a second from Councilman Miranda. Roll call, please.
Carlson. Miranda. Maniscalco.
Yes.
Hurtak.
Yes.
Vieira.
Yes.
Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously. Second reading and adoption will be held on October 23rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
So for all of you who are leaving at 5:58, you're welcome. The next two items, number 8 and 10, are quasi-judicial. If you are planning to speak to these items, please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in by our clerk.
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Council and Chair. Leo DeBartolome, Development Coordination. Agenda item number 8 is AB 2-2506. This request is for the property located at 1616 East 7th Avenue, unit number 1624. The owner of the property is Ebor Pedroso, LLC, and the applicant is represented today by Mr. Stephen Michelini. The request is for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue classification for beer and wine, consumption on premises only. The total area proposed for alcoholic beverage sales is 16,563 square feet, which is the entire second floor of the indoor space only, and I'll show you that on the site plan and photos. The applicant is proposing alcoholic beverage sales hours consistent with Chapter 14, and there's no outdoor areas, sales areas, or outdoor sound permitted. On your screen is the aerial photo of the site. Our subject site is outlined in red. The property is in Ybor City. They take up, the buildings go up to the property line.
CTV, could you move the closed captions so Councilwoman Hurtak can see? Or you can just, how about just sliding it up so she can see what you're pointing out? The property. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Good there.
Okay, thank you. You want to point it out again so she can see?
Right here in red.
Thank you. Okay.
The site is currently zoned YC1, Central Commercial Core. It is located in the Central Tampa Planning District, the Ybor City Urban Village, and along a mixed-use corridor. This is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. Like I said, the building takes up the entire property. The proposed AB sales area is the entire second floor of the subject site, which is currently the Crest building. There are a mixture of uses within the building currently, including a restaurant and retail on the first level, and retail and office uses on the second and third levels. I have some photos of the site. This is about the best photo of the front elevation that I could get without being blocked by the awnings. This is on East 7th Avenue within that central commercial core. This is facing east on East 7th Avenue. The site is right here on the right. It's facing, I'm sorry, that was facing west. This is facing west, sorry about that. This is facing east on East 7th Avenue. The site is behind us on the left. This is directly across the street. This is a rear elevation of the site. This is from East 8th Avenue. This is facing west on East 8th Avenue. The site is on our left. This is facing east on East 8th Avenue. The site is on our right. And this is across the street from our site on East 8th Avenue. And just another photo of East 8th Avenue with the site behind us. Development Coordination reviewed the application and finds the request inconsistent with the applicable City of Tampa land development regulations due to the waivers requested for the distance requirements from other AB sales areas. Transportation staff finds the request consistent. Minor site plan modifications will be required between first and second reading, should it be council's pleasure to approve. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions? Applicant?
Good evening, Council. Steve McElhaney, representing the petitioner. This is approximately 16,500 square feet. It's in the old Crest building. It is zoned YC1. It's a 3-story building with other uses, including the restaurant on the first floor, which is a distance waiver that the city staff had objected to. This only applies to the second floor for art gallery, art studio, and retail sales. It's a small venue, which means it has less than 300 occupants. And consumption is on premises only for beer and wine. It does not compromise the health, safety, and welfare of any other individual or property owner. It complies with the regulations established by the city. It's compatible with all of the other uses. It complies with the comprehensive plan. It does not establish a precedent. Ingress and egress remain the same. Parking is existing and remains the same. The lighting, safety, utilities, drainage all remain the same. It's an existing building, and it does not change or establish any development precedent that would be adverse to any of the property owners. It is consistent with all of the general conditions, and we respectfully request your approval.
Does council have any questions?
Yes, real quick.
Councilman
For clarification,
Maniscalco.
this is the second floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Councilwoman Hurtak.
Why just the second and not the third?
Their lease only applies to the second floor, and there's
Okay.
and their office uses are on the third floor.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody in the public wish to speak to this item? We have a motion to close from someone? We have a motion to close from Councilman Maniscalco, a second from? Second from Councilman Carlson. All
Second.
those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, Councilman Miranda, would you like to read this item? Councilman Carlson?
Move file number AB 2-25-06. Ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. Ordinance approving a special use permit SU2 for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue consumption on premises only, making lawful the sale of beer and wine at or from that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 1616 East 7th Avenue, Unit 1624, second floor only, Tampa, Florida, is more particularly described in Section 2, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Carlson, a second from Councilman Vieira. All those in favor, no, roll call vote, please, excuse me.
Miranda? Maniscalco? Hurtak?
Yes.
Vieira? Carlson?
Yes.
Clendenin.
Yes.
Motion carried with Miranda voting no. Second reading and adoption will be held on October 23rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council.
Councilman Maniscalco.
Yes, for item number 10, Mr. Shelby, this is at 4121 Henderson Boulevard. My dad's store is 2 spaces over, so like 20 feet away from this. My dad rents, he doesn't own. My dad is not, he's a retail store, has nothing to do with beer and wine. What do you recommend out of an abundance of caution? He has no financial interest. I don't even know if he knows this is happening.
Well, Florida statutes requires you to abstain if you have a voting conflict and the basis is a financial interest. And he doesn't have an ownership interest here. And ultimately, the question is, can you be fair and impartial and base your decision on the evidence in the record?
Yes.
I do not see a legal basis for a financial conflict, and therefore it's my professional opinion that under Florida statutes you have an obligation to vote.
Okay, and he's also in the process of retiring and moving, moving away, so I should be okay. Okay.
Okay, very good.
All right, thanks.
Continue.
Good evening, Council and Chairman. Again, Leo DeBartolome, Development Coordination. The agenda item number 10 is AB 22518. This request for the property located at 4121 Henderson Boulevard. The applicant is represented today by Megan Smith. The request is for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue, beer and wine for consumption on premises and package sales, off premises consumption. Sales are limited to indoor space only, totaling 966 square feet. There are no outdoor sales areas included. On your screen is the aerial map of the property. The subject site is outlined in red. You can see it's along the commercial corridor that runs along Henderson Boulevard. This is inside, it's located inside of a commercial strip center, but the parking is in front of the building, which also has access from Henderson. Parking in the front, and there's additional parking spaces in the back that I can show you on the site plan. The unit is currently a vacant commercial space and is proposed to be established as a bar lounge use for beer and wine, consumption on premises and package sales for off-premises consumption. And again, the sales area is entirely indoors. This is the site plan submitted by the applicant. Again, you can see that the proposed sales area is the entire unit. This is Henderson Boulevard here. There's an alley in the back where you can get access to the other parking spaces, and then with the parking spaces in the front as well. Some photos of the site. This is the front elevation of the proposed sales area. This is just a view from across the street so you can get an idea about the strip center. This is facing northeast on Henderson Boulevard. The site is on our left. Facing south on Henderson Boulevard, the site is directly behind us. Facing southwest on Henderson Boulevard. There's a rear elevation of the subject site. It's here. This is where the proposed parking will be provided. This is just a site of the other side. This is the east side of, North Clark Street here. This is Estrella and Cameron Court. Development Coordination staff has reviewed the application and finds the request inconsistent with the applicable City of Tampa development regulations due to the waivers for distance requirements from residential and other AB sales establishments. Transportation finds the request consistent. Minor site plan modifications would be required between first and second reading should council move to approve. I'm available for any questions.
Any questions? Applicant?
Good evening, Megan Smith, 400 North Ashley Drive, here on behalf of Spiro's Wine for the site located at 4121 Henderson Boulevard. Leo did a great job going through everything, so I will be brief and see if we can get you guys out of here in record time this evening. Site is zoned commercial general. The request before you tonight is for small venue, beer and wine only. We are requesting on-premises and off-premises consumption, and it is 966 square feet of space. All parking is being provided. There's the site plan. So Spiro's Wines, some of you may know it as the online distributor. They are a Tampa-based family business. They're really curating that small winery ability and things that you wouldn't find every day in the store. Through word of mouth, they've really grown in the Tampa area, and so they're looking for a storefront location. So from online to storefront, as you'll see here, there's just a couple renderings that we put together preliminary of give you a feel of what the space is. This is one of those cases where like the zoning code definition and what's actually happening is a little confusing, so we wanted to make it very clear that what the intent is. Over a third of it's going to be for a walk-in wine cellar, and then there's going to be a retail area and a small tasting area, so that's that on-premises consumption for tasting events, when like wineries come in and things like that, and then if you wanted to try some wine before you bought the whole case and went about your day. We are requesting 2 waivers as a part of it. Pete's Bar is to our west, closer to Lois, and then there are residential units behind us on the alleyway. So those are those 2 waivers that you're requesting. We feel like it's compatible in the sense of it's on Henderson and the uses that are there, and it's a very small boutique type use with more of a retail hour than a bar lounge hour, and it is enclosed to the indoor facility only. And with that, I will be available for any questions if you guys have any.
Does council have any questions? Pete's Bar, the best karaoke in town.
That's what I hear. I haven't been. I'll pop by.
Best karaoke in town. Oh. Well, then we should use Pete's as a practice zone. Thank you. Hearing no questions, anybody in the public wishes to speak to this item? Hearing none, we have a motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it unanimously. And we left off with, well, Councilman Miranda, would you like to read this one?
Item number 10, file number AB 225-18, for consideration, an ordinance rezoning, an ordinance approving a special use permit SU2 for alcohol beverage sales, small venue consumption on premise and package sales off premise consumption, and make it lawful to sell a beer and wine at or from that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 4121 Henderson Boulevard, Tampa, Florida, more particularly described in section 2, providing that all ordinance or parts of ordinance in conflict are repealed, providing an effective date.
Thank you. I have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Vieira. Roll call, please.
Vieira. Yes. Carlson. Miranda.
Yes.
Maniscalco. Hurtak.
Yes.
Clendenin.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried unanimously. Second reading and adoption will be held on October 23rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. at Old City Hall, located at 315 East Kennedy Boulevard, 3rd floor, Tampa, Florida, 33602.
Yes, ma'am.
Susan Johnson, Velez Legal Department. Counsel, before you move into information and new business, I did want to introduce, if I may, our legal intern for the semester, Dylan Brzezinski. Dylan, wait, stand up, there we go.
Hi, Dylan.
Dylan is a third-year law
Come to the
student.
camera, you gotta walk up to the
there we
podium.
go. Dylan's a third-year law student at Stetson University. He's interning with us this semester, and I know he attended some of the briefings that I did with you all in preparation for the workshop this morning, and some of you were online, so I wanted to just have you put a name with a face and introduce Dylan. You might be seeing him throughout the next couple of months.
Dylan, would you like to say something?
Good evening, Council. It's very nice to meet all of you in person, for those that I have not met so far. And I am interested in getting to see more of how this city operates.
Very nice. Well, welcome on board.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Well, that concludes the business of Tampa City Council evening session at 5:01 at 5:01 p.m. Whatever it is, I don't know. Anyway, so new business. Councilman Carlson.
Yeah, when we had the last budget hearing, the CFO presented the total debt of the city, and there was a new line in there about the pension debt, and I had some questions from the public about that. So I would like to make a motion to ask city staff to give a report on January 28th as to the health of Tampa's pension pensions and an explanation of the pension debt reported during the budget presentation.
Second.
January 28th.
I picked a workshop date. We
Wait.
can do it another date, but that at least would give us a chance.
We don't have, it's not January 28th. We have a workshop on January 29th.
29th. Okay, that's what I meant.
Okay. So we have a motion from Councilman Carlson and a second from Councilman Miranda to ask staff to return on January 29th for a briefing on the health of Tampa's pensions.
Yeah, just to explain what the, I have it written down, but to
Okay.
explain what the debt meant on the.
Okay, you'll give that to the
regarding
clerk. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes
Aye.
have it unanimously. Thank you, Councilwoman Hurtak. Okay, Councilman Vera?
Yes, sir. Two quick ones. I had sent y'all a memo on this CDS Roosevelt Apartment Veteran Initiative on Nebraska and Fowler in North Tampa that Colonel DJ Reyes is trying to spearhead. And he wanted just a letter of support from council. That does not mean monetary support or anything of that nature, just support because they're looking at bodies to support it. So I sent that information. So I hereby make a motion for a letter in support of this, and that's it. And I can draft it.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Vera, second from Councilwoman Hurtak. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it unanimously.
And,
Yes, sir.
and second and last, if I may, I motion for, this is on the K-Bar Ranch Park that we got design funding for in last year's budget. So I motion for Parks and Recreation to report back on October 23rd in a written staff report on the date of the RFQ for the K-Bar Ranch design and when it will be publicly posted for bid, as well as the status of community meetings, because part of that design includes community meetings. I'm doing this because we funded design last year, and so I just want to make sure that we are 100% on this, because if you guys remember, in the beginning of Mayor Castor's term, there was a Parks Master Plan done, and District 7 was highlighted really as the part of Tampa that has a big park deficit. And when you look at really north of Tampa Palms, north of just heading out north to the K-Bar Ranch area, West Meadows, et cetera, that area, there's really nothing there from the city of Tampa. So this would really, really go a long way in doing this. So I really want to keep tabs on this. I know a lot of people at K-Bar Ranch are very excited, including many folks in the Indian American community, because it's going to have a cricket component. So there's going to be a really great addition. So if I may, that is my motion for October 23rd.
Okay. And it's just written because
Yes, sir.
it's a pretty crowded.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion from Councilman Vera, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you. Councilman Maniscalco? Excellent. Councilman Miranda?
Receive and file.
Excellent. Councilwoman Hurtak, do you have any new business?
No,
No.
thank you.
We have Mr. Shelby.
I'd like to just remind the council, but also bring to the public's attention, that the month of October on the calendar for council business is very different. Normally, the council meets in regular session on the 1st and 3rd of the month. The CRA is usually the 2nd Thursday of the month, and the workshop is usually the 3rd of the month, the 3rd Thursday. October has 5 Thursdays, but please be reminded that October 2nd, next Thursday, is a Jewish holiday, and per council's calendar, there will be no meeting. And what would normally be a CRA meeting is going to be council's first meeting in October when it returns on October 9th. So I would just remind council and the public that there is no council meeting next week, Thursday, October 2nd, and to consult council's calendar online on the city council's calendar on the web page for how the meetings will be, so that you will not be disappointed or surprised by October's different schedule. Thank you, Mr.
What are
Chairman.
people going to watch next Thursday?
Rerun.
Very good. We have a motion to receive and file from Councilman Miranda, second from? Second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have unanimously. We are adjourned.
I did it only for you.